Thomas Parker was a 24-year-old man that had his whole life ahead of him. Known to his family and friends as Tom, he was described as having a lovely personality and someone who always had a smile on his face. Tom had recently been promoted to deputy greenkeeper at the golf course where he was employed. On the 30th of July 2022, Tom accompanied his brother Craig and two friends to watch a football match between Arsenal and Sevilla. What the group couldn't have realised as they enjoyed the day together was that one of them wouldn't make it back home. Travelling by train on the Elizabeth line, Tom, Craig and their friends were joined by a man, Kirkpatrick Virgo, who boarded the train at Slough carrying a boombox and along with two friends would proceed to play loud music. As the journey continued, Tom's brother requested that Virgo and his friends turn the music down. This led to a verbal disagreement between the two groups, during which time passengers heard Virgo remark, "Do you want to die tonight?" When the train arrived at Reading Station, Tom's brother Craig, who was feeling unwell after drinking a milkshake, went to be sick behind a pillar. Virgo, who had followed the brothers off the train, approached Craig and Tom. Craig said, "Once I vomited, I felt Tom looking over me, making sure I was alright. Then it happened so quickly. Tom was on the floor in front of me." Virgo had waited until Tom had turned his back, and then he had removed a heavy horseshoe from his rucksack, which he used to hit Tom on the back of the head. Craig can then be seen on CCTV footage pursuing his brother's attacker, tackling him to the ground before the pair were separated by security staff. Despite efforts from emergency services who attended the scene, Thomas Parker was pronounced dead. Thomas's father, Stephen Parker, said, "I received a phone call from our son Craig. Every parent's worst nightmare was about to unfold in front of us. Craig told us, 'You need to get to Reading Station. Tom has been attacked.'" Mr. Parker said he was unable to comfort his son or hug him because of the crime scene unveiling in front of him when he arrived at the station. He said, "We approached in fear, hoping in our hearts we would be able to take Tom home with us, or at least take him to hospital where he could receive medical treatment. We could not be more wrong. We wanted to hug Tom, to take him home, to gently shake him and tell him to wake up, to tell him everything will be okay." He described his son as being like a brother and added that Craig had not only lost his brother but also lost his closest friend. Virgo told investigating officers that he had bought the horseshoe as a lucky charm from an antique shop and was carrying it because he had not got round to hanging it on a door. He also claimed that he had been trying to avoid the brothers and that Thomas Parker had used a racial slur against him. Virgo would later say, "It happened so quickly that I did not realise that he had turned his head. My intention was not to kill Thomas Parker. I am sorry to the Parker family. No mother should ever have to bury her son, and for that I am sorry." 42-year-old Virgo, and the father of 4, had 5 previous convictions for crimes such as drink driving and possession of drugs. At Reading Crown Court, Virgo admitted manslaughter and carrying an offensive weapon, but denied murder. Defence counsel Alan Kent argued that Virgo had no convictions for any weapons offences and stated how he was not carrying any drugs and that he was on his way to a barbecue with a friend. Kent said in court that all of those factors are relevant to the question of whether or not he had the horseshoe with him to commit any offence. The jury, however, disagreed with the defence, returning a guilty verdict after deliberating for 3 hours and 49 minutes. Judge Amjad Nawaz sentenced Virgo to 21 years and 123 days, saying, "In the blink of an eye, Thomas Parker lost his life after being dealt a blow to the back of his head. He died at 14 minutes past midnight on July the 31st. That event changed the lives of those connected to both Tom Parker and Virgo forever. Those changes are there forever, and that is a tragedy for both families. Mr. Parker was 24 years old and was a son and brother and grandson. His loss will be there for all those connected forever. No sentence I can pass will ever put that right. His family will be denied the pleasure of watching him grow up and flourish." Tom's family now find it too painful to use Reading Station, and Mr. Parker says he's too scared every time a family member leaves the house. Tom's life and that of his family was ended through a senseless act of violence over a minor argument that fateful day. His family remember Tom as a lover, not a fighter.